Good morning, children. Welcome to our online e-learning classes. Student, uh, as you know that we have done our all the question and answer in the book, and we have completed the diagrams, tables, each and everything. So today the only remaining thing is left, that is keyword. So in today's video, I'm going to start the keyword of the chapter 2, and there are lots of keyword in this chapter, but still I have chosen certain important hard words or define the term or keyword of this chapter, and that are fermentation, communicable diseases, pathogen, pasteurization, preservatives and preservation, food poisoning, nitrogen fixation, and nitrogen cycle. These are the keywords, or these are the define the following terms, which we will do in today's video. A part of this, there are certain important topics which I have explained, like the differentiation question. So in the differentiation question, algae, fungi, bacteria, virus, these all things I have discussed here. We have done, or we will do, the difference between the algae and fungi. What are the basic difference, why they are differ from each other. So these we will do in the today's video. What is bacteria and how they are different from viruses, so this we also do in today's video. So children, hopefully you have understood the chapter 2, and please prepare the chapter, please complete the written work, so you will get good marks in the examination. And please prepare one by one all the chapters, like chapter 1, chapter 2, and the chapter 15. Okay, so without any delay, let us start the today's video, children. So children, chapter 2, microorganism, friend and foe. Now we have completed the question answer, objective and subjective both. And I hope you all have completed your written task in your fair science interleaf copy, and hopefully you have prepared the diagram also. So the remained last portion which has been left in the chapter 2 is define the terms. So define the terms, there are so many terms are given in the form of keywords. So the important, we will not do the complete one, only the important keywords or define the terms we will do in today's video, and that are fermentation, communicable diseases, pathogen, pasteurization, preservation and preservatives, food poisoning, nitrogen fixation, and nitrogen cycle. These are certain important define the terms in the chapter 2. So let us start with the first one. The first one is fermentation. So what is fermentation? A metabolic process in which microorganisms activity creates a desirable change in food and beverages. In molecules, in this, molecules are broken down anaerobically. Okay, means the oxygen is not required for fermentation. This is a metabolic process in which smaller microbes involved, and they change a desirable, actually they change the chemical nature of the food and beverages. So this fermentation, we eat lots of lots of fermented thing. Okay, like the idli and all these kind of food stuff, dhokla, idli, these are made up of the fermentation. These are the example of fermented food items. So a metabolic process in which microorganisms activity creates a desirable change. Desirable change means a change which we want in food and beverages. Beverages means a liquid, liquor. In this, molecules are broken down. The food molecules are broken down anaerobically in the absence of oxygen. Okay, so the conversion of sugar into alcohol is fermentation. In one line, if I if it is given in the examination, or it will be given in the examination, then you should write this one also. The conversion of sugar into alcohol is fermentation, but please do the question according to the marks. And these all keywords or the define the terms are very much important for the examination purpose, so please learn it by heart. Now the second one is communicable diseases. Microbial diseases, the disease which are caused by the microorganism. So they are microbial diseases that can spread from one infected person to a healthy person via or through air, water, food, or physical contact. They are called as communicable disease. As its name shows, children, communicable. The disease which spread from a infected person to a healthy person by the contact of air, with the contact of water, with the contact of food, or by the direct body contact. Okay, this is known as communicable disease. This kind of disease is communicable disease, and the examples of such diseases include cholera, common cold, chickenpox, and tuberculosis. These all are the example of communicable diseases. Okay, now pathogen. So pathogen is what? Some of the microorganisms cause disease. They causes disease in human beings, plants, and animals. Such disease causing microbes are called pathogen. Okay. Now the next is pasteurization. So the process pasteurization was discovered by Louis Pasteur. Okay, on the name of Louis Pasteur, this the process name was pasteurization. Okay, pasteurization is a mild heat treatment in which food, especially milk, is heated below 100 degree centigrade. Means this is a process in which we give the heat treatment of the food, especially the milk and milk product. Okay, so the product is heated below 100 degree centigrade, and it is used to minimize. By this we can minimize, or we can control the growth of microbes, and that is why we can increase the quality of the food item and increase the shelf life of the food stuff or food item. Okay, now the next is preservatives. So preservatives are what? Chemicals that are generally used to check the growth of microorganisms are called preservatives. There are so many chemicals which are used to keep the food item, to keep the thing safer. Means to check the growth of microorganism. If we use preservative in the food item or in the things, then the growth of microbes will not be possible. And this process is known as preservative. This is known as preservative. These chemicals are preservatives, and the whole process by which we can check the growth of microorganism with the chemicals are termed as preservation. This is a preservation. Okay, like salts, acids are used to prevent the microbes attack in pickles. You know, pickles, in the pickle we put salt and sometimes we put acid also to control or to prevent the microbial growth, and they are termed as preservatives. These salt, oil, acids are preservative. Some chemical preservatives are sodium benzoate and sodium metabisulfite. They are some common preservatives. Okay. Now the next is food poisoning. This is a food-borne disease which occur due to the intake of contaminated food. Contaminated means the food which is infected by the growth of bacteria, viruses. Okay, so food poisoning occur when the food become infected by the bacterial and viral growth. So this is a foodborne disease. Okay. Some symptoms are cramping, diarrhea, vomiting. These are some common symptoms or signs. This is food poisoning. To avoid the food poisoning, we have to take, or we should take, the proper hygienic homemade freshly prepared food. Okay. Now the next is nitrogen fixation. This is the process by which atmospheric nitrogen is converted into nitrogenous compounds. The process by which atmospheric nitrogen is converted into nitrogenous compounds such as ammonia, nitrites and nitrates. Okay, this is the nitrogen fixation, and this nitrogen fixation is done by two ways. Okay, first is physical nitrogen fixation, second is biological nitrogen fixation. Now the last define the term is nitrogen cycle. So nitrogen cycle is a biochemical process which transforms the inert nitrogen present in the atmosphere to a more usable form of nitrogen for living organisms. So this is a cycle. Nitrogen cycle is a biochemical process. Okay, so many chemicals are involved, and this is biologically beneficial, and so many living organisms are also involved. So this is known as biochemical process which transform the inert free elemental nitrogen which are present in the atmosphere to a more usable nitrites and nitrates by the microbes. Okay, nitrifying bacteria, by the nitrifying bacteria, Azotobacter, Nitrosomonas, Rhizobium, by the help of these organisms. So in this nitrogen cycle keyword, you have to make a diagram of nitrogen cycle, a colorful, proper, neat and clean diagram. You have to make it in the nitrogen cycle, in the blank side of the copy. Now there are some extra question also, children. They are very important for the examination purpose. So the differentiate between algae and fungi, and differentiate between bacteria and virus. So algae contain green pigment, whereas fungi don't contain green pigment. Because pictures or diagrams of algae, fungi, protozoa, bacteria, viruses, these all are given in the book. But I think you all are thinking about exactly what is bacteria, what is fungi, what is algae, what is virus. So let us discuss. It is important to write a difference or write the definition of each and every living organism. So algae, the second point, algae contains single cell only. Algae is made by the single cell or unicellular, we can say, whereas fungi is a multicellular organism. Okay, but yeast is only a single cell organism in the fungi. Okay, if this type of question occurs in the examination, like write the single cellular fungi, so yeast, the answer will be yeast. So please prepare this very carefully. Algae are autotrophic. Autotrophic means the living organism who can prepare their food by themselves. So because they have green pigment, so they can make their food. Okay, they are actually a smaller tiny plants. Fungi don't have color, green pigment, so they are not autotrophic. So they always depend for their food and nourishment on other plants, on other animals, on other living creature. So always they are parasitic and saprophytic. Parasitic means they take their food from other plants body, from other animals body, okay, from other plants body basically. So they are parasitic in nature, and they are saprophytic also. Saprophytic means they take the nourishment from the dead plants, okay. So they are saprophytic. Now after this we will do the bacteria, difference between the bacteria and virus. So bacteria are of two types, aerobic and anaerobic bacteria. Aerobic bacteria uses oxygen and they need oxygen, whereas anaerobic bacteria never need the oxygen. Viruses are smaller and most primitive acellular organism. Primitive means old type, smaller, and acellular. A cellular. Without, they don't have a cellular structure. Okay, they are actually they are not living. They are not considered as a living thing, but as they enter inside any living component, any living cell, they start multiplying and they start doing all the activities. They show all the living activities. Okay. Most bacteria cannot make their own food as they obtain their food from the host's body. So they are parasitic. Bacteria are parasitic. They are dependent for their food on other host's body. They can be multiplied only inside the cell of host organism, as I told you, which can be bacteria, plant or animal body. Okay, animal cell, the virus attacks on the animal's body or the plant body, or sometimes they attack on the bacterial cell also, right? The last point, bacteria reproduce by binary fission, means this is the method of reproduction in bacteria. Viruses are regarded as connecting link between a non-living and living. This is the very important point, and the question arises like this: why viruses are considered as a connecting link between a non-living and living? So it is an important question, and this is a very important portion of this chapter. So I hope you all have understood. This is the end of our chapter 2. Hopefully you all have understood the chapter thoroughly. Please read it and learn it. Do all the question answer, all the diagrams, all the tables and the hard words, keywords in your fair science copy. So thank you for watching this video, children. Stay home and stay safe.